Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how I make my own multi-purpose soap in the comfort of my home. I use this soap for washing plates, for doing laundry, for mopping the floors, for doing so many things around the house. So this is a sample of the soap I made today. I made it color green. I usually make it three different colors for the three purposes around my house. I usually make green for my kitchen, make yellow for washing my clothes, and then I make pink for mopping the floors. And then in the three varieties I make, I choose different perfumes as well as different colors for the different purposes I'm using it for. So like this multi-purpose soap, when I make my multi-purpose soap, I use rich ingredients because I'm making it for myself. So I make sure that I don't like it to be watery. I like it to be able to like flow. I don't want it to be light. I want it to be a bit thick so that it will be, you just get a bit and it goes a long way. So this is how I usually make my multi-purpose soap. So if you're interested in this video, you can sit back, relax, and then I'll show you the ingredients and how I make it. Of course, we're using chemicals, so you need to be very careful when using them. So this is the one I put in for my kitchen. I bought this bottle as well. I buy these kind of bottles, then I use them as refills from the drum or from the container that I usually use for my house. So I'm just showing you how foamy it is. I make sure that my soap is foamy as well, because when it's foamy you use less, especially when washing the dishes. And then I make sure that it's clear. When your soap is clear, you know that it's good. So let's dive straight into the video. So this is the market where I buy my soap ingredients from. So where I buy my soap ingredients is just a small shop in the market. As you can see, it's a very simple shop with all these ingredients that are for making detergent soaps, that are for making hypo, jig. So this is my shop where I buy my ingredients, and this is the lady that serves me. So I'll just go ahead and show you exactly what ingredients we'll be buying today. And the cost of all the ingredients I'm using today is about 6,200 naira, which is just above it's almost like $12. Yeah, about $12. And so the liters of soap I'm going to be making is 70 liters of soap, because my drum is 160 liters. So I'll be making just above half my drum, which is about 70-80 liters of soap. So what I've done here, I've already put water in my drum, which I've put 70 liters of water in my drum because I'll be making 80 liters of soap. And then I've got this small black bucket, which is full of water. That is a 10-liter bucket. So to make everything to be 80 liters. So what you do is you first measure an amount of water in your drum and then measure the rest into this small bucket, because the water in the black bucket is the one we're going to be using to mix all our powder ingredients before we put them in the drum. Why I'm going to be mixing my powder ingredients before putting them in the drum is because I'm not able to stir very well in the drum. So I'll pre-stir in a smaller container and then just pour in the drum, so it will be simpler. So let's just dive straight into the video and I start telling you about the different ingredients we're going to be using today. So this is very important. Like the way they've tied all these nylons together. What I do is I always use a scissors. Never use your mouth to open these plastic bags, and don't use your hand, as it may just split and the powder may fly everywhere and most probably even touch your body. So it's better to always use the scissors. And then the empty plastics that you're removing is very, very important to put them in the bigger plastic, so that after immediately you finish making these soap, you go and throw it in the big dustbin outside. Because for me, I have kids around, so once I bring these ingredients to my home, I ensure that I use them the very same day, and I ensure that I dispose of the plastics, dispose of all these small containers where the chemicals were in. I make sure that I dispose them in my big bin outside, so that I don't have any accidents, because all these chemicals are very, very harmful to your health, and so you have to be very careful when using them. Like for me, I'm not wearing an apron, I'm not wearing gloves, I'm not wearing a mask, which I was supposed to. So because these are chemicals, that is why you see me standing very far from them. I'm not close to them because I know the danger of these chemicals. So even whilst I'm stirring, I make sure that I'm far off, that it doesn't touch my legs, it doesn't touch my body, it doesn't touch my hands. If you touch the chemicals, make sure you wash your hands with enough soap, with enough water. That is why we have this water in this black bucket. So even as you're pouring into from this yellow container, as you're pouring into the big blue drum, make sure that you're quite a distance away, and make sure you pour it in slowly so that none of it comes to your body or touches your skin. So you just have to be very careful when dealing with these chemicals. So we'll go ahead and I'll share the first ingredient that we put into our yellow bucket. So our first ingredient is caustic soda, which is a 1/4 kg. I didn't do the measurements myself. The lady where I bought the soap ingredients actually had a scale and measured everything in her shop for me. So when you're buying your soap ingredients, where you buy from, if they'll definitely have a scale, so they'll scale your products for you, and like that it will be easier for you to buy them. So I was just mixing my caustic soda with my 70 liters of water in this big container. You have to stir it very well. That's why I'm mixing in this yellow container, because it's difficult for me to stir very well in this big drum. So the next ingredient I'm putting in there is my natural soap, which is a 1/4 kg. What I'll do, I'll have the measurements at the end of this video, just in case you'd like to use the measurements that I'm using. And so you can see that I'm standing a bit far from it so that I do not inhale part of the chemical, since I'm not wearing a nose mask. So you have to try and stir it very well. Try to dissolve all the particles. It's quite difficult to dissolve actually, so you have to try as much as you can to dissolve, because if you do not dissolve your particles very well, it means that the soap will not be mixed well, and it will not be glassy, it will not be clear. So you have to try and mix very well. You don't necessarily have to use this kind of drum that I'm using. You could use a big bucket. That would be easier for you to use. Some people actually use like a 20-liter container that they'll just be shaking and shaking and shaking. But then I don't have that kind of power to shake that 20-liter. That's why I opted to use these smaller buckets and mix in my bigger drum. So I'm done with my second ingredient. So in this soap making procedure, one thing that I noted from the man that I learned how to make soap from is that all the powdered ingredients, you premix them with water. So all the powdered ingredients, I'm going to premix them with this water in this black bucket. Anytime I want to use the powdered ingredient, I'll actually put the ingredient in the yellow bucket, put in water from this black bucket, and then mix it very well before I put it in the blue drum, and try to mix very well as well, because at the end of it is going to be like 80 liters, and 80 liters is a bit difficult to stir. So as you're mixing and trying to make a very smooth paste out of it. So our next ingredient is soda ash. That is our soda ash that we've added. With these powdered ingredients, from what I learned from the person I learned from, is that it doesn't matter which one you put first necessarily, but the only thing the man told me is that all the powdered ingredients must be put in first before you start putting in the liquid ingredients in the soap making. But then everybody has the way they would make it. So if you actually go to where they're selling these soap ingredients in Nigeria or in any other country, I presume, the person buying will actually even give you advice. Like in Nigeria, they're very good at advising. So once you go to their shop, if you're not clear about some things, you can even ask them, because people that sell soap know how to make soap as well. And this is something that a lot of people make in the comfort of their home. Some people do it as a business. For me, I'm not doing it as a business. I'm just using the soap for my own use And like that, I don't really have to rationale on soap, because once I make this soap that I've made today, it's going to stay in my house like for more than 6 months. This is dishwasher, for washing plates, everything. I even make my own toilet wash, though the toilet wash I made like 7 months ago, I still have it. So that's why I'm not making a toilet wash today, because that toilet wash, when I'm making it, I usually make like 20 liters of it, and it lasts very long. So now we're on to our next ingredient, which is our STTP, which is 1 kg of STTP. She had actually already measured it out into smaller. She measured it out into because this is 2 kg of 1 kg of STTP, so it was measured out before I bought it into 250 grams each. I presume that's how she sells them, so she just gave me 4 to make it a kg. So that is why it's into 4 packets like this. And then so I'm going to add the water from the black bucket as well, and smoothen it out before I put it in my final blue bucket. So what I'll do is, you will see me adding all the powdered ingredients, and after adding all the powdered ingredients, I premix them and add them into the blue bucket, and then I'll go ahead with my sulfonic, and after sulfonic I'll put formalin, and then I'll put my color, which you will also premix in the bucket, in the yellow bucket, before you put into the big drum, and then I'll put my perfume. So the method of production that we're doing is the direct production method. This direct production method is a process whereby you mix and pour the ingredients as you proceed with the production. It is better used when you have somebody to help you. Somebody will be stirring in the blue bucket whilst you'll be premixing in the yellow bucket. But in this whole setup, I'm doing it just by myself. This method is for emergencies or for quick production. You know, I'm not producing for large scale, I'm only doing it for myself. So that is why, even if I don't get a perfect product, which I try to always get a perfect product, it wouldn't really be a big issue. But then the product I usually get is perfect because I try to buy the correct ingredients in the correct amounts. So I'll just go ahead and give the ingredients that I use for this particular soap, for this particular recipe of multi-purpose soap. So this is multi-purpose soap that you can use for anything around your house. So what I'll do is I'll give you the exact measurements that I used for 70. This could make like 70 to 90 liters of soap. And what makes it, like, if you want it to be more, you'd have to use more soda ash. Soda ash is a chemical, so if you add more soda ash, it increases the bulk of your soap. So the first one I'll give is half a kg of nitrosol. So nitrosol, half a kilo, so which is 1/2 of nitrosol. So 1/2 of nitrosol is the first chemical I've given, half a kg of nitrosol. The second one is 1/4 kg of caustic soda. So 1/4 kg of caustic soda. Then the third one is 3.5 kg of Texapon. 3.5 kg of Texapon. Then the next is 3 liters of sulfonic. 3 liters of sulfonic. So the next ingredient is soda ash. 2 kg of soda ash. So this soda ash, if you want the soap to be more, you can make it 2.5 kg of soda ash. If you want to add more soap than the 70 to 80, maybe you want to add it like 90, 100, you can add more soda ash. Then the next one is 1 kilo of STPP. 1 kg of STTP. Then the next one is our formalin, which is our preservative. You know, this liquid soap, it can stay on the shelf for a very long time. It has a high shelf life. Like my soap, for instance, I keep this soap for more than 7 months at a time, because the way I've made it, it's plenty. I don't expect it to finish anytime soon. So it has a high shelf life, and it's because of this formalin, which is a preservative. So that's our next ingredient, formalin. Then the next is perfume. The perfume, you can, it's in Nigeria where I learned it from. You just say you want 100 naira perfume, and it's just like a standard measurement, but this could be like 100 mils, 200 mils, according to how strong you want the scent to be and according to what you're using it for. You know, when it comes to perfume, if you're using it for washing plates, you don't want it to be so strong, so after you wash the plate, you don't want the plate to start having the scent of the soap. So you have to use a mild scent that is for, if you know you're going to be using it for your washing of your plates in your kitchen, so that it doesn't have that scent. But then when you're using it like to mop the floor in the house, you want it to have a nice and a long lasting perfume. So of course, when you're using it for that purpose, you'd use more of it. Like for me, that is why I usually, after making my soap, when it comes to the perfume and the color, because those are the last things, I'll usually divide my soap and then share it accordingly. So I'll just go ahead and give the ingredients for this 70 liters of soap once again. So I used half a kg of Natrosol, used quarter kg of caustic soda, 3.5 kg of Texapon, 3 liters of sulfonic, 2 kg of soda ash, which you can use 2.5 kg as well, 1 kg of STTP, then preservative, which I used formalin, then perfume, which is the fragrance, and then the color, which I used green. So in this soap making process, like for example, when it comes to preservative, there are many types of preservatives. So just as there are many types of surfactants, and there are so many types of chemicals that could produce the same soap. So when you go where they're selling soap and you don't find any of these chemicals that I'm using right now, you may be given an alternative chemical which will also work just the same. So what I'd advise is, when you go to where they're selling chemicals, you'd give them your recipe. If they don't have your products, they'll definitely have something else that they can substitute it for. And then when making soap as well, please just be careful. If you're going to try this for the first time by yourself, just be careful with the chemicals and make sure you dispose of these empty plastics and empty bottles very well, just as you've seen me putting them inside one big plastic bag, so that at the end of this whole procedure, I'll just go and trash everything so that we have no accidents. And then, so this soap, the way it works actually is that if I was trying to make 10 liters of soap in this black small bucket, it would be very expensive and almost the same price as me making this 70 liters inside this blue bucket. So it's always good, the more you make, the cheaper it becomes. So if you're going to make like 10 liters of soap, you find it expensive. But if you make like 50 liters, the more you make, the better. So if you're just making it for your household use, you could start with even 50 liters, 30 liters, then starting with maybe 5 liters or 10 liters. It's a bit too small, and then it will be expensive for you as well. And this soap making is also a business venture that many people venture into. Just because I don't have time to do this soap making as a business, I've got other things I'm doing. If I didn't have anything else to do, I would definitely do it as a business, because it's a good business venture that gives good profits. Because you can see that I'm making 80 liters of soap from using this 6,200 naira, which is like $12. So you can see that the returns on it is very good. So if you've watched this video to this point, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions over this whole soap making procedure, just you can just write it down in the comment section below. And if you'd like me to do my video on how I do my toilet wash as well, I can do the video for you guys. And if you need any other clarifications concerning this soap making procedure, I know the way I made the video was not too good because of time, but then if you need more explain over this video, you can let me know as well. get shoe.